This is Julien Jean-Pierre from the Royal St.Lucian Seamoss Company. I hope everybody is doing well. It's another beautiful Sunday, and I'm just chilling, enjoying the nice day. It's, it doesn't get dark here till like about 9 o'clock or so, but I got my little light thing for when that happens. But yeah, I checked the comments. No one had anything to say about what they wanted to talk about. So I hope some people come in and we talk about some stuff different. In the meantime, I'm going to take a couple bites of my pad thai that I have here. Because the Seamoss life is so busy, I barely have time to do everything that I want to do. So sometimes I have to double up things. Try to eat and do a live stream at the same time. But one of the things I did do today, though, was let me see if I can pull them up. I pulled up some videos that I was looking at for the Seamoss. It's weird. I don't see them here. But I wanted to go through some of these videos and show them. Don't mind me, that's my dog going crazy. He does that at this time of the hour, especially because no one's taken him out for a walk yet. And, Mason, what are you doing? Getting in trouble. But yeah, I wanted to show some of the videos of the commercial farming of Seamoss, or like how you see the Seamoss coming out from these commercial industries, because it gives a really good understanding and perspective of like what a lot of people think is fake Seamoss, which it's not really fake Seamoss. It's just this commercially grown Seamoss, and it's still real Seamoss. You know what I mean? But if anybody has any questions, I'm happy to answer them. Like, what's the difference between the colors? Another question I get a lot is, what's the difference between the bleached and the gold Seamoss and the purple Seamoss, and how long can it stay in the kitchen, or like how long is your Seamoss good for? Yeah, any of those questions, feel free to ask them. I have no problem answering them. And you know what? I'm gonna check and make sure. So one thing I noticed, and I gotta go send this to the to the company. Look at that, it's not even showing an event. What is the difference from the colors? I don't know. No, I'm kidding. Give me 1 second. I'm going to answer because I'm just looking and it feels like one of my accounts that I'm trying to stream on is not showing. So I'm going to end this live stream and restart it real quickly. And because I know there's always a glitch on this. So I'll be right back. So yeah, to get into it, the difference of the colors, right? So you have gold is the main standard, and then you have purple, and then there's also green, and then they have on the market they have what's called the mixed colored. There's also a pink, and that's pretty much it. There's also actually there's a blue. It's like a really deep green that's almost like a blue. Now, the gold is all the combinations of all the different colors of the Seamoss, and it goes through a process which it they strip all the pigments out of it. They do a sun bleaching, and I think this process is really done to kill a lot of the bacteria and any sort of like pathogens or whatever that kind of came out of the ocean from the sea moss, to also balance the sea moss in terms of like taste and flavor and look. When you get into the unbleached sea moss and stuff, you tend to get a lot of different variations when it comes into the color. And so the question is the color stronger? Yes, in theory it's stronger, although not too many people have done tests to sort of prove it or back it up, right? But in technically, because of the process that you're doing, the sun has to, you know, take a lot of, or not a lot, but some of the nutrients out. And so one has to expect that there is going to be properties found in the purple and green sea moss that is not found in the gold. For instance, in the green sea moss, the color green adds a lot of chlorophyll to it. And I know this from taking the green sea moss. I find it really, you have like, it's like a soup, not a super laxative, but a definite like a cleanser, and you'll have like a body move. It's like, I call it a washout. So you just like everything will just kind of eliminate from your body, and it's good. It's good to have the green. You know what I mean? I think it's good to try all the colors. You know, to say one's better than the other, I don't know. You know what I mean? I think they're all pretty good, and so one shouldn't. You should almost like if you're really serious about CMOS, you should have like a sample or a little bit of everything, because depending on how you feel and what you're going through in your diet, you might want to change it up and even mix it up for a bit. Have some purple in the morning and some gold in the afternoon. I don't know. No. Point is, it's not like one is better and everything's bad. Even with the different varieties, like species, I think it's good to have some sea moss from the Caribbean and then also sea moss from Ireland. You know, and mix it in between the both. Because I think some of them have, from what I've talked to people, it's like Condor's Christmas has some high nutrients in some areas, and the Garcilaria and the Eukinema has nutrients and stuff higher in other areas, but they all have the same sort of amounts of nutrients. Like at a certain baseline, they're all the same. So to say like you can get one from this and not one from the other, that's not the case. Now you might have higher concentrations of one nutrient more in one species than another. That's a possibility. Although I don't really have any proof or any documentation to back up which is which. I know there's a few people that have been talking about, taking the samples and doing, a sort of like a comparative test of all of them. We shall see, you know, what works out and what happens, you know. Who knows? The worst comes to it, maybe we'll go and bite the bullet and put that investment in. I really like to see like what the nutrient difference is between the different species. See, that's what I'm just talking about. So she asked, what's the difference between Condor's Christmas and standard sea moss, or maybe what you mean is Caribbean sea moss. I honestly don't know. Like I was saying, those that have gotten it tested, or no one wants to share their findings and blah blah blah, but those that have been in the sort of field of testing, a lot of them, they say that between the two different species, they all have the same amount of nutrients. But say Condor's Christmas might have more nutrients in one area, and Garcilaria Eukinema has another concentrations of nutrients in a different area. But because they're all algae, right? They're all going to, in some ways, function the same way, where they're getting high nutrients from the sea and nutrients and minerals from the waters of the ocean, and they're converting it into what we can use now as food. What's up, Naturally Me? I think I saw a story earlier of you doing moving into a new location. And if that's true, I just want to say congratulations. You know what I mean? That's a big how do you say it? A big move, and doing the business. And I'm excited to see people like you taking the putting yourselves out there to make the investments in your business, to take it, like, to do what you can to take it to a different level. So congratulations. So yeah, I'm happy to hear that you're doing the farm. And you know what, that brings me on something that maybe I would really want to talk today, because for those that are in Canada, and I don't know if some of you Americans might know, but we had Caravana weekend, and now is one of my first times going down to Caravana there, but I've honestly never been there before. But I'll tell you this, it was crazy. Um, Even in the parts that, because I'm kind of, not to say I'm an introvert, but I'm not a very crowds guy. But I wonder if I have any footage that loaded up from when I was down there. Here, maybe I'll show this. Go to the tab there. This was like at the end of all the breaks. There was let me see if I have one. I'm going to show when we were walking. Most of it's on my GoPro. But bro, I walked so much that day. I did like easily something like 8 kilometers down there walking around. Oh, that reminds me, I want to check and see if anybody is talking on my live stream, because I'm always missing the comments. Like, I go back after the show and I see all these people trying to talk to me, so I want to make sure I see the videos. We'll see what happens. I think that should work. But yeah, so getting back to what I was saying, like, this thing was huge. This was like bigger than what I actually thought, because like even all around the place, not just the event itself, but there's just tons of people everywhere. Like, even leaving there, all downtown and stuff. And I actually got yeah, so there's so many people there, and I was actually shocked, like shocked, really, that there was no one like pushing CMOS or CMOS drinks or anything. Like, I don't know. The part of me is like, I don't think I'm gonna do it, but part of me is like, I should go back and like invest in a bunch of coolers and just like, cause like honestly, if you put some money into it, you could have killed it that day. If you had guys every sort of like 1,000 meters, maybe even if you had 20 guys, 20 coolers, each cooler had maybe 100 juices in there, you'd sell out at $10 a juice for sure. You know what I mean? 3 for 20 or something like that. Done. You know what I mean? And have maybe 4 different flavors. You know? And you could even do one that was like spiked or something like that, like a hot shot. You know? Oh, because people are even selling like beers right on off the street and shit like that in coolers. They had all these beers in coolers. I'm just like, CMOS would have killed it. You know what I mean? And so this goes to what I've said before in a few other videos is like, if you really want to like, get your name out there and a word out, one of the best ways to do it is to find like an event where there's a lot of people there and go and sell your drinks. You know what I mean? Even if you don't sell a lot of your drinks, and I wouldn't even sell them cheap, just so they buy them. Don't look to make a lot of money because it's more of like an advertising play. You know what I mean? People will see you and they'll like your drinks. And then you can tell them like, this is the price, but we're doing a pop-up. This is a pop-up special, you know. Maybe they'll like it enough that they're willing to pay $5 more for the drink or whatever, your actual price is. You know? But I think if you can sell enough of the drinks, you can make enough profit to justify, the reason for doing it. So coral is your ticket to riches. I'm not sure what that means, but you know, coral is good. You know what I mean? It's good for the environment. It creates a lot of habitats for sea moss and sea moss life and stuff. You know, so I'm all for coral. But you know what I found out, which is interesting? Sea moss doesn't really grow near coral, and the reason why it doesn't, right? This is what I found out, is that sea moss, this kind of sea moss in the Caribbean needs nitrates, um, nitrogen to grow. And so wherever there's coral, they say they don't have it, it has low levels of nitrates. And so that's why um, when they're looking for sites to cultivate sea moss, they say that you should be looking for sites that are have a lot of grassy area and stuff like that, but not any corals and stuff. Rocks are okay, but you also want these patches where the grass isn't growing. And then I forget, there's some name in St. Lucia that they call it. The guy, a farmer, told me, but they were like, this is the spot. Like, if you can find a spot where there's no grass, because where there's no seagrass, they're not competing for the nutrients that are in the water, and that's where the sea moss, gets its food from, is from the dissolved nutrients in the water. It's actually from the runoff from the hills, from the ground, from the land. And so that's partly because why St. Lucia's waters are so mineral rich, is because our soil and our land is super fertile. I mean, there's other countries that are like this too, right? But St. Lucia is known for, its active volcano, its mineral springs, all this stuff is releasing nutrients through the water through the groundwater and all those aquifers, and it's eventually pouring out into the ocean. And the sea moss is sucking it up, and it's using a lot of that for its food to grow. Um, you know, I don't know. I don't want to start an argument, but I know this, that I've spent thousands of hours, at least 1,000 hours, over the last 2 years researching and trying to understand how sea moss functions, how its life cycle is, how it feeds, how it grows, you know what I mean? Like what nutrients it needs to process and stuff. And um, all the evidence that I have researched and read have pointed me to know that the sea moss is a microcellular algae. There's two different types of algae. There's micro and sorry, it's a macrocellular algae. It's a multicellular algae at a macro state. So there's macro and micro algae. Algae that's micro is like on the microscopic level, but macro is the stuff that grows, and sea moss is multicellular because it grows within itself. You can take a piece of sea moss, break it off, and it will start growing on its own. At least the sea moss that I'm specifically referring to is either Eucydema or like Garcellera. You don't need a rock or any sort of like hold fast to anchor the sea moss in order for it to grow. This stuff grows everywhere, all throughout the ocean. It just floats like tumbleweed, and so um, whether it's on a rock or not, it's going to survive. It's going to live, and so I've not found any evidence or any information that can point to me as to how it's possible for the nutrient for the algae to convert the rock, the minerals, or whatever is contained in the rock, to convert that into something that is bioavailable for the sea moss so that it can absorb it and use it as a function to grow. Okay, this sea moss, and you can research this and Google it, whatever. You could look beyond, what the first page says, get into the, like, science sites that have sort of a reputation, like university sites and stuff, and you will see when they're doing these studies that as an algae, this stuff, it the only reason for it to be attached to the rock is to add as a holdfast and as an anchor. And so, beyond that, it has no sort of ability. It has no roots. It uses photosynthesis and the nutrients in the water to convert its food into, it's got like glucose and sucrose or whatever. Actually, you know what? I shouldn't say that because I don't know sure. But I know that it uses the nitrates through photosynthesis. It does create proteins, and it's full of fiber. So, and I encourage anybody to kind of research what they can about sea moss, and share the information that they learn from a scientific level, not from uh, a word of mouth level or something, like to follow up with someone that has actually done some real proven scientific tests. Ugh. I'm gonna turn on the light. But actually, I don't know if I need it right now. Yeah, I'll leave it for now. But I got it ready. So, yeah, I mean, that's where I am at. And I really should like prepare some of the books that I've read or some of the links. I know if you email me, I have like a email that's together. Actually, maybe I'll just pull that up and I'll go through some of these CMOS links that I have to show people where I'm coming from. CMOS links. Uh-huh, uh-huh, uh-huh. Sorry, there's so much emails. I think I should do this. Let's see. Links. Oops, wrong thing. There we go. Here's one. Let me just see if I can put the screen up. And let me do this. I'm going to share the screen so you guys can see this. To the tab. So this is marine algae. So this website here is the Marine Education Society of Australasia. Right? And so it's referring to the different types of moss. It has a picture of some Chondrus crispus here, and some different species of red algae. Different types of algae. So here it goes. There are about 6,500 to 10,000 species of mostly cellular or mostly multicellular marine algae, including many well-known species, including over 160 freshwater species. The red color comes from the pigments called phyllocybole proteins. Algae mains range from microscopic forms to large fleshy algae. They're usually red, but some species living high on the intertidal fringe may be olive brown. Red algae are found in all the regions in the world, growing attached to the bottom or other hard surfaces. They are grazed by herbivores such as fish, crustaceans, worms, and gastropods. Usually, the red algae are slow growing compared to the green algae and reproduce both asexually and sexually. They have some of the most complicated sexual life cycles of any organisms. Algae store their sugar as glycogen. Glycogen is a long chain of molecules with a lot of side branches. It is very different from the starch that brown or green algae store. Besides having the usual cellulose cell walls that most algae have, Rotolif- Rotofia also has three important chemicals in their cell walls. Their chemicals are agar, carrageenan, and glycines. It's mucilaginous sugars. Some red algae, like chlorine algae, deposit calcium carbonate in their cell walls. This prevents them from being eaten and gives them strength and support. These algae make an important contribution to the growth of coral reefs. Some species of red algae can grow in thin mat over rocks and hard structures and are called crustaceans growing in this form. Their up chlorine and crustaceous forms of red algae bind and fill coral skeletons to form massive sediment structures and which are long enough to resist wave action and erosion. The sperm of red algae cannot swim and they rely on water currents to transport them to the female organs. They have quite complex reproductive cycles involving alteration of generations. Several species are used as food, including Polymeria or dulse, is well-known snack food in Europe, and in Iceland has been a prominent source of fiber for many centuries. In Japanese, cultivation of nori is a major industry employing over 300,000 people. Red or crimson in color, nori becomes dark or blackish when dried, and green when cooked. Nori is used to make sushi. Blah blah blah. So that's something about red algae. And then let's go to where's that page? I had the Gmail account. Uh, okay, there it is. I'll just add that there. Okay, so here's another. I'm going to share my screen on this tab, and we'll talk about algae and the descriptions and the types. I'll just, oops, don't want to share that settings. Let's make that a little larger, if you guys can read that. Okay, so the word algae represents a large group of different organisms from different phytogenic groups, representing many taxonomic divisions. In general, algae can be referred to as plant-like organisms that are usually photosynthetic and aquatic, but do not have true roots, stems, leaf, vascular tissues, and simple reproductive structures. They are distributed worldwide in the sea, in fresh water, and in most situations on land. Most are microscopic, but some are quite large. Submarine seaweeds can exceed 50 meters in length. The algae has chlorophyll and can manufacture their own food through the process of photosynthesis. Recently they are classified in the kingdom as protists, which comprise a variety of unicellular and some multinuclear and multicellular um, eukaryotic organisms that have cells with membrane-bound nucleus. Almost all the algae are eukaryotes. I don't know, you don't know how to pronounce that, and conduct photosynthesis with membrane-bound structures called chloroplasts, which contain DNA. The exact nature of the chloroplasts is different among the different lines of algae. Cyanobacteria organisms traditionally included along the algae have prokaryotic cell structure typical of bacteria and conduct photosynthesis directly within the cytoplasm rather than in special organelles. I don't know. The main type of algae are orange. There's so much to read. I don't even know if I can read all this. But I'll, like I said, scroll tightly. There's something radio video. Um, it's the kingdom of Proteus, consisting of the synthetic organisms commonly known as red algae. Members of the division have a characteristic clear red or purplish color imparted by accessory pigments called phyllocybulins. The red algae are multicellular and are characterized by a great deal of branching, but without differentiation into complex tissues. Most of the world's seaweeds belong to this group. Although red algae are found in oceans, they are common in warm temperature. They are most common in warm temperature and tropical climates where they may occur at greater depths than any photosynthetic organisms. Most of the chlorine algae would secrete calcium carbonate. Most of the and play a major role in building reefs belong here. Red algae are a traditional part of Oriental cuisine. There are 400 known marine species of algae. A few species occur in freshwater. Okay, please share the link of the article. You know what? How about this? What you do is DM me, and well, it turned dark quick. DM me, and what I'll do is I'll send you the link to all these articles that I have, because because I'm on two different devices. It's hard for me to share the links from the article, but definitely, you know what I mean. I have no problem sharing all these different stuff, but like these things are found. I googled these all. You know what I mean? Like I guarantee you, if you go down the rabbit hole, you spend like an hour, you know, kind of Googling sea moss and seaweeds, you know what I mean? You will learn a lot about them, you know. Let's see. This one here. Trying to find ones where they're like sort of like more scientific sites. Some of these sites, they're just information about, you know. Here's something interesting. I don't know if you can see that on there. I'm gonna switch the screen sharing. Give me 1 second here. Share the screen here. So here's an object. It goes seaweed nutrient physiologically applicants of concept to apiculture and bioremediation. So it's an inorganic carbon, nitrogen, and phosphorus, the main ingredients required by seaweeds for photosynthesis and growth. This review focuses mainly on nitrogen, but the roles of carbon and phosphorus, which may interactively affect seaweed's psychological process, are also explored. Fundamental concepts such as limiting nitrogen sources, ratios, mechanisms of nutrients uptake, nutrient assimilation and storage, pattern of uptake and preferences for different nitrogen sources are discussed. The roles of abiotic water motion, light, temperature, saltinity, and desalination, and biotic life stages and age class factors and nutrient nitrogen, phosphorus, carbon uptake are also reviewed. Understanding species-specific nitrogen philosophies and nitrogen source preferences will enable polyculture of different seaweed species and the use of seaweeds as biofilters and integrated multi uh, multi-terophic aquaculture systems. So to put this in a layman's term, this document here that I'm sort of referring to, they're talking about how you can use seaweeds as a way as to become like a biofilter and the uses of apiculture. I've done a lot of studies on apiculture, which is basically or apiculture, Apiculture. It's basically using marine life to create nutrients in the water that you use for hydroponic systems. Basically it's a hydroponic system, but instead of adding chemical nutrients, you use fish waste that is bioconverted from, I think, ammonia into nitrogen and phosphorus. So CMOS is like a plant in the fact that, I mean, it does need these certain nutrients, phosphorus, nitrogen, carbon and stuff like that. But where it's getting the stuff from is not from the soil. You know what I mean? It's the soil is the water. That's like, it needs the water to function. Let me see if I can goes in here. So it's here, inorganic carbon, light, and nutrients are required for seaweed photosynthesis and growth, and interactively regulates rates of seaweed production. Nitrogen is the element most frequently observed to limit growth, although in some cases phosphorus may be limited. Moreover, because inorganic carbon in seawater occurs primarily as biocarbonated HC03, the inability of some of the species to use HC03 as a sea source may lead to carbon limitation, especially among subtidal and tide pool species. This review will focus on nitrogen nutrition of seaweeds and will also consider phosphorus and carbon physiology, which may interactively affect nitrogen uptake and assimilation, and consequently seaweed photosynthesis and growth. This review is not intended for the comprehensive, but to build on the earlier reviews of Harrison and Third, blah blah blah. Here we outline fundamental concepts of natural nutrient sources to seaweeds, the mechanisms by which seaweeds uptake and assimilate nutrients, and the ability of kinetic curves in understanding mechanisms and rates of nutrient uptake. Next, we discuss how nutrient uptakes and growth are regulated by abolic and biotic factors, both classical and contemporary literature examples. The context is that seaweed growth can be enhanced by providing optimal environmental factors such as light, water motion, and nutrient supply. We then explain how concepts might be applied to seaweed polyculture and integrated multi-trophic apiculture. So basically, this is kind of saying like they're going to do this study where they're talking about how the different nutrients are going to be affected based on, like, I think kinetic curves means like the currents in the water, and just how light, motion, and nutrient supply will affect the growth of the sea moss. So systematic environmental factors regulating uptake nutrient by seaweeds, inorganic carbon, phosphorus, and nitrogen sources available in seawater for seaweeds, including the organic form of nitrogen, urea, aluminum, or aluminum, which is naturally available in seawater at relatively low concentrations, but levels can be enhanced via excretion from marine animals, including in IMTA situation salmon. For seaweeds to uptake nutrients, they first must cross the diffusion boundary layer with the cell wall. Within the DLB products release photosynthesis, respiration, and nutrient uptakes may accumulate. Example O2H and OH. Once they have crossed the cell wall, nutrients are taken into the cell via active transports and facilitated transports and or positive diffusion through the cell membrane. Within the cell, nutrients may be stored in various pools or are assimilated. The example given is nitrate uptake and assimilation. Nitrate may be stored in an organic pool or in an organic pool, or converted to ammonium via the enzymes via NR and nitrate reduce. Unlike nitrate, ammonium storage is limited in seaweeds and is rapidly converted to amino acids via the glutamate synthesis and the glutamate synthesis, GS and GOAT. So, like, I just want to take a second to kind of point out that in nowhere in this study do they ever discuss how the sea moss is required to have nutrients from the rock, and that's what's functions. Like, sure, I bored you with a lot of this science stuff, but it's clear to see when you read this what really sea moss requires and seaweeds require to function and to grow. You know what I mean? It's the waters. It's the nitrates, it's the carbons, it's the phosphorus and stuff like that. And this is all from dissolved stuff like like even down to whale poop, which adds these nutrients into the water. But a lot of it, from what I was told from someone in the government, is it's coming from land. When the water washes off in the rainy season and stuff, it filters through the land and picks up nutrients, and then it dissolves, that stuff dissolves into the water, and then it reaches out. It's the same reason why like spring water is good for you. It's, what I mean, the sea moss is basically getting a high dose of like spring water coming from these mountains and stuff. You know what I mean? And it absorbs through the cell wall. So, you know what? I'm gonna have to put the question is, Peacekeeping, the retreat will still be in October? No. I've had a few little changes in the business in the last like week or two, and so I'm just gonna need a little bit more time to really confirm it. But I know that it is gonna happen. It's just not 100% sure if it's gonna happen this year or it's gonna happen next year. We've done some recent expansion in our business, and it's possible that I might not be able to even come down to St. Lucia. You know what? But even if I'm not there, I'm sure we can organize something and have some kind of retreat. Especially if you want to come there and you're serious about it, reach out to me, and we can make something happen. You know what I mean? But for me to come down there, I don't think I'm going to be able to come down there till closer to like November, December, realistically. You know what I mean? Especially at this point. So I'm sorry to have talked about that earlier, and then I have to kind of backtrack on it. I'm located in Toronto, Canada. So I'm just quickly browsing over this, and it's talking about how nitrogen is the main thing that limits and affects the sea moss growth. So the question here is, what about sea moss from Jamaica? Is it the same? Yeah, I think it's the same. I mean, a lot of times the sea moss, like, okay, there's certain areas that yes, you can order for me if you're in Canada. If you're in Toronto, you can even pick it up in the area. I'm in Scarborough. But the sea moss from Jamaica, everywhere, it's not so much important about the country that you get it in, but how they treat it and where they harvest it from what particular waters, like what region or whatever. Because some areas are cleaner, the waters are cleaner than others, and then ultimately it's not even just the water's being clean, it's the person that's handling it. You know what I mean? Oh, where am I? In Scarborough? So you have to call me to kind of meet me, but my warehouse is in Birchmount and Danforth Road, and I'm actually going to be opening up a location soon in Richmond Hill. So I mean, you're probably not in Richmond Hill, but if anybody that's listening happens to be in Richmond Hill, I'm going to have an area there where you'll be able to pick up, you'll be able to place your order for CMOS and pick it up from there. Yeah. I need to snack on something. So, seawater nutrients have different seasonal cycles depending on geographic location, and it is important to have baseline data to understand when a particular nutrient might be limiting for sea growth. In many temperate regions, seawater N02 concentrations in surface waters have a strong seasonal cycle due to seasonal thermal cycles. In winter, N02 concentrations are maximal, ranging from 5 to 20 UMs, I think that's units per million, depending on geographic location, with increased light in spring, temperature raises, and the thermocline formed separating the surface layer, separating the surface mixed layer from the cooler N02 rich waters below. Biological activity, mostly phytoplankton, remove N02 from the surface waters, which become N02 deplete. However, in other systems, night supply is driven by seasonal upswell events. For example, the California current follows the seasonal pattern similar to N03 negative, but concentrations rarely reach zero, and that is below the detection limit. In summer, recycled production predominates with seaweeds using NH4 plus secreted by zooplankton, invertebrates, and fish in tropical waters. Concentrations of seawater N03 negative are comparatively low year round, and the systems are based largely on regenerative NH4 plus. The tropical systems tend to be dominated by symbiotic corals, and seaweed biomass is naturally low due to higher levels of invertebrate. However, under your tropic conditions, seaweed biomass can increase at the expense of corals. At the expense of corals. So in the ecosystem, seaweeds can take up a substantial portion of their nitrogen from invertebrates and fish from which they are associated. For example, the relationship between some word I can't even think. Grow rates are enhanced by which hydroxants, which secrete SH fluid that is taken up by underlying seaweeds. Oh, so the question is, and it's fresh. The seaweed I have, the sea moss I have, yes, it's fresh. It's definitely fresh. It's usually probably like no more than like a month old. I get my sea moss shipment every month or every other month. Stuff is so boring to read, but yet it's so informative. Like when you read it, you then really sort of understand like how seaweeds feed, where they're getting their nutrients from and stuff like that, and just even like how different times of the year, like they know, like there's farmers when they're cultivating, they know how to put it, like it's like the lower it is to the ground, the more nutrients there is. What is that noise? I think that's my dog. Let me see if I am getting any questions from the other groups that I have. Oh, these guys. The only comment I've gotten is this dude here. I'm blocked from the group. These guys, they spam him with their HIV, whatnot. There's another one. Give me a comment. Gonna ban these guys. Oh, look at that. Someone said, we just received our order to Belgium. I must say your Seamoss is great. Thank you. Well, that's sweet. I love getting positive feedback from the Seamoss. You know? So, just clear up the links. So no one's commenting, which is not a good thing, but not a bad thing. Oh, I can like just geek out and just read this stuff for like hours, you know? But like, and I mean, I can share it, like, how do I say this? I'm gonna post this link in the comments on our YouTube groups and our Facebook groups. But like, if you want to message me, you reached out to me to purchase 15 pounds. Are you serious? And no response. Where did you send the message to? That's odd that I wouldn't respond. It must be an email that for some reason I'm not getting, because I'm pretty responsive. And you're in Toronto. Like, you can come pick up the 15 pounds tomorrow if you want. You know what? Let me check my DMs, because you know what happens sometimes in these. Actually, I'll do it on a different channel. Sometimes what happens is, and my apologies for not getting back to you. Sometimes I don't see the DMs because they're in a, like a, what do they call it? Like a request. You know what I mean? Yeah, here it is. You did it 7 hours ago. Keep in mind, it's like Sunday. I generally don't work on a Sunday, and so 7 hours ago, I know for sure I was not. I was in church, and I wasn't paying attention to my I kind of turn off my phone afterwards and stuff like that. But I'm there. I just responded to you, so if you want to, keep on the conversation, I'm happy to help you, and we'll get you that 15 pounds, no problem. I'm actually about to receive in a new shipment. It just came in Toronto today. I'm waiting to hear back from customs from my broker. Let me check my email real quick. And for that, let me make sure I'm not like sharing my email account with that. So yeah, but I'm getting a new shipment in, and I will. I think they just got an email. Uh, yeah, so they're running the card. Let's see. What? Okay, that's printing the original. All invoices. Written. The invoice shows the address of the company. Sometimes these custom guys, dealing with them is, it's work. What can I say? What's funny is I've like nothing has changed. I do I do these shipments every month, and for some reason it's like I get one person that it's like thinks that they know everything about the ship, and I'm like, please refer to all our past shipments for direction on how to proceed with this shipment. Like it's pretty self-explanatory. You know what I mean? Like, um, you should know what to do. Like, I don't know. Like, we didn't have to do it before. Why all of a sudden now? You know what I mean? This country of or like, basically what they're asking for is to basically, I think on the invoice they're trying to say to me it doesn't say what country it was manufactured in. But I'm like, this thing is not manufactured. It's it's dried. We're harvesting it, but we don't manufacture it into a product. And even then, where it came from, there's the address on the invoice. It says where it's from, has a phone number, a PO box, and an address. You know what I mean? Like, I don't understand what it needs to say where it was manufactured. These customs guys, like, just run it. Just run it. You got the credit card. You know what's up. You've done this before. Like, I didn't need. I should have said that. Like, I've never used this before. Why all of a sudden do I need this now? But I don't know. I'm scared because this is gonna be like my largest shipment ever. I don't think, I'm not even sure how they say it. It's like I'm gonna go and get this U-Haul truck, but I just hope it's big enough. Like, I gotta get the biggest one I can get because I don't want to get there and find out I can't put all the skids in. Or so I should have asked them how many skids there are. I think I'll do that in the morning. Yeah, we'll figure that out. I will figure that out in good timing. But yeah, I think that for a lot of people in Toronto, if you were in the Seamoss business, like Carabana was a missed opportunity if you weren't out there slanging your stuff. Because even I met this girl she was making, and I should have brought her product. I wanted to talk about it on the show. Really nice person, but she was making these hair care products and oils, and she was just walking up and down Carabana with a bag full of samples, looking at people and saying, "Oh, okay, this is good for your skin and this and that. Check it out." And she was giving out free stuff. Now imagine you were out walking around giving out free samples of Seamoss and be like, "Here, take a Seamoss shot." Boom. You know what I mean? You get some energy, put some like turmeric and ginger in it or something like that. Or I don't know, cucumbers and coconut water or something like that. I think that's one of the things I'm going to do if I make a CMOS drink is I'm going to be like, yeah, it's like I'm going to make it with fresh coconut water. Get them to cut the coconuts and pour the water and use that as the basis for the drink, and maybe even sugarcane water, like really kind of like you know do it like a proper juice, something that's going to hydrate you and give you energy. Like, oh my god, when I was up in the heights in St. Lucia, and like, this my buddy Chin gave us like went in like this guy is like in his 60s, climbs a tree with his bare hands and throws down a bunch of coconuts, and we just chop up coconuts and ate like maybe 6 of them, and then the jelly. It's just like, oh, it's just like eating life, like literal life. It was awesome. You know what I mean? I can't wait to go there. So yeah, reach back out to me in the DMs and we'll sort something out for you to get some Seamoss in the T dot. Yeah, Toronto's a wide open market. Like the more I think about it, it's like the more like no one's really pushing Seamoss. Like some people are selling it and they're moving slowly, but I think there needs to be like the biggest reason why people are not eating enough Seamoss or consuming enough Seamoss in Toronto or Canada is because they're not aware. There's not enough people aware of it, and not enough people are aware of where to get the right stuff and get the educated. You know, I think that's a big deal. So, dog's going crazy. I can hear him playing with the squeaky toy. And give me one sec. I'm gonna get some snacks. Oh, I'm back. See, that didn't take long. Got some chips. Not good for me, but whatever. So, um, let's get back to some of these links that I have. Do I have access to them? Where are they? Thought I just had them here. Here they are. Here's a really cool site. It's called FAO. It's the Food and Agriculture Organization of the United States. Well, if you ever get a chance, go into FAO.org. In this article, I had linked as the functional and nutritional value of the Chilean seaweeds, Codaman, Fragile, Garcilaria chilensis, and Microcitius proliferae. So it talks about the nutrition value of Garcilaria in the Chilean area. There's proteins, amino acids. Let me see if I can share this link. You guys in Instagram are missing out. I got to figure out a way to get you guys on the same screen. Well, I'm gonna change that. A lot of garbage on it. Well, not garbage, just stuff you can't really understand. Food and like you have to be in that sort of field to get it. Here's something interesting. I'll show this. This is um, a nutritional composition and assessment of Garcellaria. Sure, we have that right one. So it says here, the chemical composition, mineral elements, vitamins, free fatty acids, amino acids, content of the edible red algae, Garcellaria, grown in the seas near Nano Guangdong province, was analyzed in a present study. Garcellaria limiforis bore showed a total sugar content of 14%. The protein content was 21%, of which 41% was determined to be essential amino acids. The major amino acid compounds were glutamic acid, leucine, arginine, and I don't know, adenine. Of the EAA estate, methicillin, choosing appeared to be the most limiting amino acids compared with the DAA pattern provided by Food and Agriculture Organization in the United States. The total lipid content was 0.87 and comprised of a high composition of unsaturated fatty acids, 61%, many linoleic acid and oleic acids, and a little amount of polyunsaturated fatty acid. Polylimitic acid was the main component, 39% of saturated acids. Relatively high levels of vitamin C, iodine, phosphorus, and zinc were also present. The nutrient composition between the Garcellaria and the notastic Ligoformia real algae that is widely eaten by the Chinese society was compared. The results suggest that the N-nafang can be substituted for by Garcellaria not only because of their similar shape, but also because of their approximately nutritional composition. Garcellaria may possibly serve as a potential healthy food in human diets in the future. Give me 1 second. Let me get a note. Kleenex, blow my nose. What do you want, Mason? You want something? You want to chill? You want to hang out? Come. You're not getting any food from me. So think about that again. That's a boy. You're like the star of the show now, Mason. So you want to learn about Seamoss, Mason? Huh? You want me to start giving you some Seamoss in your diet? What do you think about that, Mason? You're not too sure? Yeah? You're worried about the taste? Yeah, I know. But don't worry. The Seamoss I get, Mason, it's really good. You're going to like it. Trust me. I know. It's exciting. Everybody's talking about Seamoss. So funny, this dog. is what a first come first serve basis. I'm not sure what you mean. What's up, Mason? Allergies feel like they're kicking in. Can you believe I'm allergic to? Well, I mean, obviously it's a first come first serve, right? Whoever gets their order in first, um, should get the Seamoss. But I don't want you to make it seem like first come first serve, and then all the Seamoss is out. I have a lot of Seamoss. Um, and all the 2 years, there's not been a single time where I didn't have Seamoss to sell. And so, you know, I wouldn't worry about it too much. Now, if you want to get some of the sales and the good pricing, you know, you got to take advantage of those when they come. I mean, I think tonight we're having a final sale. It's actually I could probably load it up here. I should play it. How can I do that? Add a source, a local video, and then here we go. Okay, I'm gonna play this video. Yeah. So your question here was nice because there's a West Indian store in the West End that gets it, but she's always sold out because restaurants always buy it out. That's why I asked. Well, you know what? Let me know where that West Indian store is because I will supply them with Seamoss. And I even set something up where you can get the Seamoss through them, the same Seamoss that I have, so you don't have to come all the way out to Scarborough if you're in the West End. You know, I know how those in the West End like to stay in the West End, and those in the East End are the same. They're biased to the East End. But what's going on, Mason? Actually, I can feel the bugs. Get the bug spray. Oh, you're up north. Are you not far from Richmond Hill? What area are you in the GTA? Because up north, I mean, everybody has a different opinion of up north. Me, I think up north is like North Bay. Bonnex? I don't know where that is. Never heard of that area. So, yeah, I have a special going on. If you want some gold sea moss, you know what I mean? It ends tonight at midnight, and you'll be getting some of the fresh sea moss that's coming in. Um, oh, that's the store. Let me Google it. All right, I'll check these guys out on Western Road. Yeah, Jamaican. Not Jamaican, St. Lucian, St. Vincent. It's all the same. Island's an island. Well, actually, I shouldn't say that because all these guys would say their island is, unique for whatever reason. But got some corned beef, got some nice items here. Oh, it's a celebrity place. Well, I will check them out. Yeah, I should hit them up definitely. If they're getting like a lot of restaurateurs coming to get their items from there and stuff like that, um, they can they can use my services. Yeah, I was just checking them out on Instagram. It looks like a nice little shop, community oriented. Got some nice fish. Oh, look at that! I'm watching her receive stuff in from like a shipment for food. Looks like a refrigerated warehouse. No, I'm gonna check her out on Instagram. Saltwater fish and crabs, eh? Is this the same girl that does the TikTok um, videos where she's going to the restaurant? Because I remember them saying that she owns like her own grocery store or something like that, or her own restaurant. That's where she gets a lot of this stuff that she does. No, I'm not sure either. So, what celebrities go to her place? Just out of curiosity. So I'm just messaging someone because they're questioning about the Seamoss because they've ordered Seamoss from somewhere else. I'm not going to say from where, but they weren't happy with the quality, and it wasn't clean, and so I don't know who Aunt Donna is, but I'm sure she's a big celebrity. It seems like a clean place, and like in the West End, like that's sort of like the go-to for Caribbean stuff. No, yeah. So they're saying like they weren't happy with the Seamoss. It was dirty, and it took a long time to clean. And so I was telling him, yeah, our Seamoss is clean and it's in good condition. But on top of that, if you don't like the Seamoss, send it back. You know what I mean? Not every Seamoss is for everybody. Some people like this, some people like that. Um, I know my Seamoss isn't bad, but if it's not what you want, as long as you're willing to pay to send it back, I'll take it back and give you a credit. You know what I mean? I'm not here to hang on and force people to buy my Seamoss if they're not happy with it. You know, to each his own. You know, so you've heard it from the horse's mouth. If you're not happy, let me know. You send it back, I'll take it back. No problem. Oh, the reason why I said you're missing out on Instagram is because they can't see what the people on Facebook and YouTube are seeing. So you're asking here, what's the difference between the gold and the green? Mainly the process on how it's dried. The gold can actually be green sea moss, but because it goes through a sun drying part, which is they call sun bleaching or bleaching for short, it rips out a lot of the pigments out of the sea moss. So if it was green or if it was brown or whatever, it's going to go white, and then from white, when it dries more, it turns gold. And so that's the main difference is that they don't have the same color. And the green will have high levels of chlorophyll from the green. Mostly the colors that it turns to, there's different pigments, and a lot of times pigments in the food identify certain nutrients and stuff that are contained within it, and that goes a lot for the same for the sea moss. And so the green is going to have high levels of chlorophyll. The purple is going to have high levels of iodine and other nutrients. And to say which one's best, I mean, who knows? They're all good. You know, I think each one has different levels of nutrients, a different function. I always recommend those that are new to sea moss that they start out with the gold, and kind of get your body sort of accustomed to taking sea moss in general, and then from there you can experiment and try different types of sea mosses in different levels and quantities, and then you sort of fine tune it. I think everybody should have a mix of like 2 or 3 different species in their cupboard to get different effects, and even mix them up and have different combinations. Like, there's nothing stopping you from having, say, Garcilaria, Bladderwrack, and Condorus crispus, and mixing them all together. That should be like a super sea moss. And interesting that no one's done that, because they're always so fighting about one or the other. Imagine you put them both together, what that would be like. That'd be like killer. It'd be like, you know what I mean? Two of the best seafood. I think I'm gonna do that. No, I'm not gonna do that. But I think someone should do that. If you need a link on Conjurer's Christmas, I can get you a good link, and then I could be your link for the Caribbean sea moss. You know, and the same guy you can get the Conjurer's Christmas from, he'll have the excuse me, the bladder. But even we have bladder too now. We're gonna put it on the website, but we have bladder from St. Lucia, Caribbean bladder. Part of me wishes I went down by the. I built a fire earlier today. I know it's still going, and it's chilly out here, so a little bit of a fire would be nice. Yes, sea moss is a superfood. You know, or like Ricky from Gold Sea Moss said, it's more than just a superfood. It's like a it's like an amazing multivitamin. And the reason why I say it's an amazing multivitamin is because it has all these vitamins and nutrients in there. But what makes it amazing is that all these stuff is in their organic state. Whereas, if you bought like uh vitamins, from like over the counter or whatever, a lot of the vitamins are made in it like synthesized, and so they're not really in their original organic state. And so I don't know. I'm no nutrient expert, but I think from what I read, organic compounds are easier absorbed by the body than inorganic compounds. So Miss Jealous says, my mom has high blood pressure, diabetes, and high cholesterol. Is sea moss good for her? Yeah, I think it would be good for her, but I don't think like she's gonna take sea moss and then her life will change overnight. It's a combination of different things: sea moss, the diet, your lifestyle, exercise. So if she's got high blood pressure and diabetes, I think one of the best things to do for her is to get into like yoga and meditation. Find ways to reduce that high blood pressure, and then um, to just changing your mental state, and then changing your diet where you can to eliminate the high sugars and stuff like that, and the fatty foods. Now, the CMOS could aid in some of that areas by like acting as sort of cleanse to rid your body of some of the excess. But if you continue to live a certain lifestyle, then the CMOS, it's quite possible that you know you're hurting your diet, and everything you're doing is having a greater effect on you than the CMOS can have an effect, if that makes sense. You know, and so one should not consider living an unhealthy lifestyle, expect to take CMOS and continue that unhealthy lifestyle, and expect a change to occur. No. So Toronto Tudor says also reduces blood pressure, aids in digesting, and smooths the digestive tract. That is true. It also helps to feed a lot of enzymes and probiotics and stuff like that. So it creates a very good gut health. You know? And I really should stop snacking before I come on these shows. I think I'm gonna make a habit in future. I'm gonna have a meal an hour before, so I'm not hungry while I'm on the show. So Toronto Trudy says bitter lemon, cucumber, ginger, and aloe vera helps lower blood sugars. Nice. Thank you for sharing that, because that can help with the diabetes by reducing the blood sugars in the body. Yeah, look, see, I learned something new. Well, that's what this show is all about. It's like like total each one teach one. And sharing the information. I don't. I'm not the only one who has any knowledge on CMOS. There's lots of other people that have taken the time to learn and read and understand what CMOS is, how it functions, how it relates to us in the world, how it grows, how it reproduces, and stuff like that, which I think is great. The more that studies, the better. The more that we, like I said, each one teach one. I don't know. So he says, Toronto Center says, blend those four together and drink before bed. Helps my sister a lot. She's diabetic. Well, thank you, man. I appreciate that. And for those that don't know, speaking of hers, we've actually gotten some decent supply of different herbs that you might be interested in. One of them is soursop leaves. Then there's sassiolata, cerasee, um, lemongrass, bay leaves, soursop leaves. I think I might have said that before. And then there's red raspberry leaves, gully root. So yeah, gully root. And those are the herbs that I have right now, with more to add. No guava leaf, but I can look into that. I also wanted to start getting what is it called? Mango leaves. I had some people ask me about that. Oh, cerasee is the bitter lemon bush. Nice. I didn't know that. See, I'm learning all these new herb stuff. You know, I actually want to start taking a combination of these different herbs and the tea, and start like sort of sort of like documenting my progress or documenting my results. So I don't have any moringa, but I can get moringa. And yes, the herbs are fresh. The herbs were probably harvested within the last month and a half. Or probably a month and a half to 2 months, to be honest. Because I think I got them before I left to go to St. Lucia. And that was in June. And now we're in July. So that's about a month. So, how do I feel about burdock root? I've heard great things about it. I've never tried them personally. And so I think we can get it from St. Lucia. I should look into it and find out for sure. But I know where to get it. Like, if we can't get it, then I can point you to somewhere that can supply it for you. Okay, enough of the snacks. I need to stop. Exercise some self control. You know. Actually, probably gonna go to bed early tonight. Tired. A long day with church and everything, and I don't know. I felt like I didn't really sleep too well last night. So at Toronto Turning, do you do any herbal drinks leading on Instagram? Just asking because you have some good drinks. I have to check out the drinks and see what it is. I think that gels are popular and everything, but I think the drinks are really gonna make what's the word I'm looking for? They're gonna really become popular. Like they're gonna take a lead in all this, and you're gonna find. I think every gel maker should have sea moss drinks or prepared mixes of their sea moss in the drink form, so that like almost like ready made, so no one has to keep it in their fridge and add it. And those are sort of like your introduction to experiencing sea moss and its effects. Because yeah, like the more I think about it, I could have rented like a U-Haul little coupe truck, drove up somewhere with a bunch of coolers in the trunk, and basically have all the drinks on ice and slang drinks at the back of the truck. That'd be killer. You know, that'd be really good. Yeah, man. So Toronto Tuner says, "Oh no, I just love learning about these herbs. I do a lot of smoothie blends for different things." And so Annonated Describe says, "What kind of drinks?" There's actually a guy. Um, I think it's Gian. He's making. He sells um a recipe for sea moss lemonade and sea moss teas. And they're pretty popular. He started a club and everything, and I think the club is pretty good. There's a lot of people in there. He's making videos showing how to make the teas and stuff. And he started, I think, selling the recipes for like $50, and now he's up to like $100. He sells the recipe, but he adds all this value with selling the recipe. Like you get to be a part of his group, and they have videos and stuff like that. And they come up with new recipes and new ideas and stuff like that. And to me, it's always good to be like if you're a gel maker, there should be like a community of just people making gels so that they can share like where do you get your balls from, where you get this and that. You know what I mean? So that they can support each other. Give me one second. I'm gonna get these snacks out of my face so I don't keep getting fat. I'm back. Sorry it took so long. I decided to get a jacket because, I don't know, it gets chilly at night. It's getting into that August months, and you can start seeing the change. Hey, what's up, Tata? Gotta clean up this comments. Alright, looks like no one's making any comments for me to answer back to. Getting back to the discussion. Sorry about that, guys. Yes, I hear turmeric's very good. Although a lot of people give turmeric like a bad rap, But I think it's sometimes like the product is good. It's the source of where you're getting the product that's the issue. So it's almost like buying turmeric in the store might be an issue, but growing your own turmeric might be better. You know, we need to start looking at ways to grow our own foods and stuff like that. I mean, for us, we don't grow a lot of our foods, but definitely like all our like seasonings and herbs and stuff like that, we grow. Like so, we grow thyme, we grow rosemary, basil, cilantro, mint, you know, onions, garlics, all those stuff that we'll store them and you preserve them for later and stuff like that. I can probably get St.Lucian turmeric, not a problem. That stuff's everywhere. I didn't realize that it's something that people would be interested in. Now the question would be, do you want the powder or do you want the whole turmeric? Because I could probably get both. I could pretty much get anything you want from St. Lucia. If it grows or it's made in St. Lucia, I can get it. Oh. Where do you get black turmeric from? Can you grow black turmeric? Black seed oil. Yeah, I'd be curious to see how cold press works. I wonder if you can classify doing a supercritical extraction method as cold press because they usually use like really super like cold temperatures. Nice. So it says it's more powerful than the orange, but when you combine them, both fire. Boom, firecracker. Well, excuse me. So like, yeah, it's amazing. I've already been on for like 2 hours. I think I'm gonna start. Whatchamacallit, I'm gonna start doing this early. It says you look high. You're as high as hell. I wouldn't say I'm high as hell because I'm not really that high, but I'm more tired. And it's just the way the light is with this thing. Like it gives off this like hazy look. You know what I mean? So I look like I'm always tired. You know. Fam for life. I'll check out Fam for life. But I am tired. I do need to get some sleep. I've been up since 5 this about 6 this morning, and I went to bed at like about 2 o'clock last night. And I was like working all around the house today using the power washer, and swam in the pool a few times. You know, did some yard work. Yard work always tires me out. It's always lifting shit up and moving shit around, and you know, but and like the power washer was giving me like a hard time because it ran out of gas and um, whatchamacallit. Well, you say 3 hours. How you live on that? It was more than 3 hours. Let's say realistically, I went to bed at 2, and I probably woke up at like 6:30. So it was about 4.5 hours. But you know, I'm kind of used to it. I got so much going. Like it's hard for me to sleep in. You know what I mean? Like someone's calling me or messaging me or something. You know. But I think tonight. That's why I made sure I did the live stream early. I said to myself, I'm not going to do any sort of like 2 o'clock in the morning stuff. I think tonight I'll probably end it around 11. So your question is, are you a millionaire yet? Depends on how you define a millionaire. You know what I mean? I think if your definition is someone that owns over $1 million in assets, then there's a lot of millionaires around, especially in Canada, Toronto. Fucking almost every other person's a millionaire. If that's the definition. Um, so, but you know, it's funny because it all depends on how you perceive that. You know what I mean? Like, I know guys that are worth like multi millions, and you would not know that they're worth anything. And then there's guys that are the same, and like the way they live their life is just like so lavish that you're just like, you know what I mean? Like, is this guy really richer than the? And then you look and they're like, they make like the same money, or sometimes one makes the guy that's low key usually makes more. You know. So you should have been from Canada. You don't believe you have any assets. Any advice? Come up with a plan on how to get some. You know what I mean? And to say I don't have any money or anything like that, that's like that's in your mind. That's a limited factor. I bought one of my first and well, not my first, but one of my best investment properties. I bought with literally like pretty much none of my own money. I borrowed all the money to get it done, and I was able to, after buying it, you know, worked hard and was able to buy that person out and then own the property myself. And to give you the idea, the numbers, which I'm excited to always tell people, because I like, to me this was a a property that God just wanted me to have. It was like it was just like calling me. I knew it, like this, like, because I've been studying investments and stuff like that, but I've never pulled the trigger on my own investments. But when I saw this, I was just like, this is a friggin' no brainer. You know what I mean? I can't lose with this. And trust me, I knocked this thing out of the park. So I bought it for $147,000. It's a 1 bedroom plus den. We gutted it out. And so I used, I think it was like 35,000 or so, or 30,000 to put down on it. and I used. I had a friend of mine who came in as a joint venture partner, so I gave him 50% of the property, and he was going to come in with all the deposit. Now, here's the thing: he didn't come in with all the deposit, and he was supposed to qualify for the mortgage, so he didn't. So I did a lot of the investment on my own, and so when he started trying to like have control or say over it, I was kind of like, look, you didn't pull all the money in, you didn't do all the qualifications like you say, you know what I mean? So the question is, how did I borrow the money? I asked people for it. I just went around and asked people, like, I have this project. This is the idea. This is the money. You'd be surprised the amount of people that have money. And if you're able to show them like a realistic plan on how you're going to set out to buy something and accomplish it, then you can get the money. You know what I mean? This guy gave me, like I said, $35,000 easy. And like, he was a guy I knew from high school. And I ran into him at a like I went to meet a buddy of mine who was a realtor. I'm a realtor. So we went to hook up to talk. I knew him from high school. And he had another buddy that I knew from high school with him. And I was kind of pitching the deal to my realtor friend. And I was like, hey, if you want in on this, you know what I mean? It's a good deal. Here's the numbers. You know, this is what you think you can make out of it. And the other guy was like, "Oh, I'll buy it. I'll do it." You know what I mean? One of those. It was like, "Okay, sure." You know what I mean? And then what's crazy is that like after we got it, he basically ran into financial issue difficulty, and he had to pull out of the deal. Now, if he hadn't had those problems, he probably would have still been on the paperwork, and I still would have had to like share my investment with him. But I was able to buy him out over the next year or so, 6 months, and I took the property. Like I said, I bought it for 145, put about let's say 30,000. So I was running a mortgage of like 115, and I put another 25,000 into the build. Um, Gutted the whole place, renovated new hardwood floors, opened up the kitchen so it was an open concept, new bathroom, you know what I mean, new all this stuff. And then now the property is this is so I bought that in 2016. So it has been 6 years since I've owned this property, and it has gone from 145,000 to I just had it appraised at 450,000. So in 6 years, I tripled the value of the property, and that was on a 30,000 or $35,000 investment. That was not my own money. So they say you can't do this stuff. You can't do. You know what I mean? Toronto tutoring. Those are Toronto prices. I'm just a realtor, and so I know how to shop. And mind you, this was a unit that I bought in Scarborough. It was like I said, it was a 1+ den, and I bought it. It was listed for 187,000, and I negotiated them down to 145. But this was like a total gut job. Like nobody was going to live in this. Like a guy died in the place. You know what I mean? I'll never forget me trying to negotiate with the guy, trying to push him as low as I could, and then there was a point where I should have pushed him for another 20,000 because the place was in like horrible condition. But I knew that all it took was someone who knew what they were doing to see the place, and they would have snatched it. You know what I mean? Was it haunted? No, it wasn't haunted. What happened was the guy, he was an old man, and I think he just probably had a heart attack or something like that, and he died in his chair, and the whole place got full of mold during the time. Like I guess they didn't check on him for 3 months or 6 months. Yeah, yeah. Oh yeah, but he died of natural causes. Don't mean it's haunted. But even still, you know what I mean? I how do you say it? I have good energy. So when this recession hits hard, hopefully prices will correct. Yeah, I do agree that there needs to be some price correction in the Toronto market in regards to real estate. And it is going to be, but here's the thing. This is what I've noticed and watching historical data and everything is that the demand for the Toronto real estate market is so strong that it's like there's never going to be a super pause in it. You know what I mean? There's going to be dips here and there, but then the market just picks right back up, and it's constantly sort of moving in this like upward trajectory. And so my advice is, and this is what I've always said to my clients and stuff is like, get your shit together, get things ready, buying a house, for a good price is like being a cheetah waiting in the shadows for that prey to come by, because it's gonna come by, but you got to be ready to pounce on it when it does, or else you're going to miss the mark, and you're not gonna get your meal. So that's my advice. If you're really serious about real estate, especially in Toronto, just get your ball. Go see a mortgage agent and get your finances in order, and you shall be good to go. Yes, that's Seamoss energy. Hey, what's up, Khaled? It's good to see you. I wonder how many people are going to go check out that. What is it? St. Lucia Premium Seamoss is their business challenge, because apparently like 100 people signed up for it. That's a lot of people to sign up, and to manage a challenge. It'd be really interesting to see how it plays out, and sort of what information they share, and how it can hope grow the people that are registered. Let's see if Callan wants to talk. Actually, I'm going to invite Toronto Tutor too. See if you guys want to ask some questions on the live stream, and those that watching on Facebook and YouTube, you guys can always join in on the conversation by clicking this link here. What's up, Khaled?
What's going on, bro, Julien?
I'm there, brother Khaled. Just living life, Seamoss life, hanging outside my backyard.
The Seamoss life is the life. I should have been in my backyard.
Yeah, man, it's nice out.
It is nice out.
Mm-hmm.
I was arranging my fish tank. But hey,
You're arranging your fish tank.
Yeah, I had got it cleaned and the gravel.
Uh-huh.
So I got to make it pretty again, rearrange it. Everything got knocked over.
I hear you.
When you do those rocks, when you get under the rocks.
Mm. Is yours fresh water? Or is it salt water?
Oh, fresh water.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'm not that skilled.
Yeah, I hear the fresh water, the salt water is crazy. My dad had one when he was younger. He had the old salt water action.
Yeah, you gotta be on top of it.
Yeah, to manage. That's what people don't realize is that like running a saltwater pool, you know what I mean, whether it's an aquarium or anything else, it's a lot of work to balance those nutrients, and you know what I mean, like those chemicals and stuff like that. Like, that's a nice tank, got a nice backlight on it. I was actually talking about the condo thing that I did, and I have this investment condo, and it's got an aquarium. It's got this like breakfast bar thing that comes down from the kitchen, and then off to the side, I built up this little cabinet thing that has a like a huge tank in it with fishes in it and stuff. But I actually got to
Oh,
go
wow.
check it out because I've rented the place, and so I don't know what this guy's. It's like you get this investment, and you're like, oh, I'm gonna rent it, but then you make it so nice, it's like you don't even want anybody to live in it because you're just like, what is like? That's what I'm all thinking in my head now. It's like, what is this guy doing to my place?
Oh,
It's like
yeah, that's the truth.
having a party and stuff like that.
That's true.
Yeah.
You know that fish tank is double sided.
What do you mean?
The one in back of me, mine.
Yeah, it's double sided. What? There's something on the other side.
Yeah, it's the other side of my house.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, it's double sided.
That's cool. So you put like an opening and stuff. My friend has something similar to like that, where he's got a cabinet, and it's like on the it's like the tank is built into the cabinet, so you can
Okay.
see it like the cabinet's like a room divider. So on one side you can see it, and then the other side you can see it. Yeah, it's pretty cool. Do you build that yourself? Did you do the modification yourself, or is that like the house come like that? You there, Khaled? Hello?
Sorry, Julien.
Yeah, I was asking you.
Sorry about that. I had to get the kids for a second.
Oh, okay, no problem.
I had to make a mad dash.
Is that the grandkids or?
It came in the house. It's built in the middle of the library.
Oh,
You see
nice.
it, you can't see the full library.
Yeah.
You see it like one wall, but on the other side it's a vaulted ceiling.
Oh,
On the
nice.
ceilings, it's my living room on the other side. I got two living rooms.
Nice.
So I'm in one living room now.
Mm-hmm.
And also on the other area is my library. And then on the other side of the wall is another living room.
It's a big house. What do you think about calling your master bedroom the master bedroom? Do you think that they should stop calling it that, or are you okay with that?
The master bedroom?
Yeah, did you know
There
that
is.
they
I never thought about that.
did you know that they have abolished it out of like I'm not allowed to refer to the master. I have to call it the primary room.
Why? Because of slavery?
Yeah, something like that. It's like crazy.
I never thought about that. Is that what that means?
I think so. But like who really cares? Like to me it's like, like when is enough enough? Like when do we call it okay? Like you're going overboard. Like the other day, so in Canada, we have this university called Ryerson University. And so I don't know, I fell on this article on Reddit where they were talking about the name being changed and how they made it this stupid name because they changed it from the Ryerson University to the Toronto Metropolitan University, and just how it doesn't sound like a university anymore. And I was like, and they were saying how this Ryerson name, they had to change it because it was racist. And I was like, what? Ryerson was racist? And then like this lady just like came out of nowhere and like attacked me. It was like, yeah, blah blah blah. He's a racist. And apparently this Ryerson guy like did something to indigenous people. Like half the people that see this, they don't like. Do you know what I mean? Like it's kind of like, okay, if he was a known figure that did this to basically she attacked me and was like saying like, all Aboriginals all around the world are hating you now, or something to that effect. And I was like, are you serious? So you speak for all Aboriginals now? Like, what are you talking about? Like, I don't know. Half the maybe it's because I'm in Canada, but like half the things that happen, like with racism and black people, like in North, like to me, it's like I don't know, like this stuff only matters if you think it matters. We're like we're beyond. We should be beyond that now. Do you know what I mean? Like, why are we living in the past? Why are we holding on to this stuff and not focusing on our future and just changing the narrative? I don't know. But for me, I feel like, yes, growing up, I felt some like levels of racism and stuff, but I did what I could to to fight against that, so that it wasn't like I never felt that like these issues were a barrier or that made me less of, do you know what I mean? Like I had to like overcome these like ridiculous obstacles. I don't know, maybe it's because Canada, it's not segregated and not like that in the States, but it's just like I feel like the harder you work, the more you see results.
Yeah.
You know, and I see a lot of people not working hard, and then they're upset because they're not getting the results that they want, and they look to other reasons to why, you know.
Yeah, but you know the biggest thing is that is trying to find a medium between what you're saying and from the actual effects.
Mm-hmm.
Whenever something happens, there's always effects.
Mm-hmm.
If there's a cause, there's an effect.
Mm-hmm.
And so what happens is there are effects from slavery.
Mm-hmm.
But one, when they let them free, they didn't give them anything to start with.
Mm-hmm.
They just said, "Oh, you're free."
Yeah.
And so they ended up being back in slavery through what they call it when they rent the land and then they own
sharecropping, like
sharecropping and all that.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just saying, like all the way from the guns and the drugs to everything that we go through, is some of the backlash, some of the effects from it. But like you said, at the end of the day, we can't cry over the effects. Yeah. We got to push forward.
Yeah. So one of this guy just put his comment, said, "I guess you've never met a U.S. cop." And you know what? To be quite frank, no, I've never met a U.S. cop. But I'll say this: I've met a lot of cops, right? And one thing that one cop taught me, right, that I keep in the back of my mind always to this day, is that he says when it comes down to whether or not I give someone a break, I look them dead in the eye. And if I feel like I could trust that person alone in my house and they won't touch anything, I'm going to give them a break. But if I feel like that person's going to do something to my house, then I throw the book at them. And so when but
that's crazy, because you can't judge a book by its cover.
You can't.
The person you look at in the eyes that you think you can't trust is one of the most trustworthy person in the world.
True. That is true.
Because only God can see the heart.
That is true.
And no man look into another man's heart.
That is true. But it gives you some insight, right? And it gives you an insight on two sides. One, okay, what people don't realize with these cops is that their job centers around them being the caretakers of all the scum of society, all the issues, all the negative problems, everything. You know what I mean? Like from getting spit on to being shot at, they have to deal with all that stuff. And then they have to hear all the stories of all their partners getting through shit and all this other stuff. You know, this creates a huge, in my opinion at least, a huge environment for fear and distrust. And so you combine that with the training that they get, where like pretty much as far as I could see or tell, every time they go out, they're told this might be your last time going out. That does a lot to your psyche. Do you know what I mean? And when it comes to dealing and interacting with people, you know what I mean? And not everybody's mentally stable. Not everybody that are cops should be cops.
That's true.
Do you know what I mean? But does that mean that every single cop is bad?
No. It's a wide spectrum. All this stuff is a wide spectrum.
Yeah.
Just like all the way back to slavery.
Yeah.
You had the abolitionists and you had the people that was pushing forward, trying to get the economic benefits. And then the slave trade, you had some Africans that were selling slaves themselves, that didn't know that the slaves were going to be taken off the continent. They didn't actually understand that per se. But, you know, it's always been a wide spectrum of things you have to consider.
So
it's an endless argument.
It is. Listen, it's an argument that you can never win, because you know what? It's constantly changing and everybody's different. And a cop in one state is going to, and just a cop on the force, one cop is going to treat you totally different than another. Some cops are just assholes. They're just fucking douchebags. Like that's how they were just, you know what I mean? Like, what are you going to do? But I don't know.
It's cause and effect. Just think about this. When you flip the coin and think about it from a two-side perspective. Imagine leaving your house every day not knowing if you're going to die.
Yeah. Well,
and you kiss your wife goodbye, and you close the door and lock the door, and you walk up to the driveway, and you don't know when you're coming back home.
no, and
Every day, Julien, every day.
I know. I could imagine.
I'm saying, so we gotta look at it from a different. It's a lot of different
Multiple
ways.
perspectives.
Just like Dr. Sebi.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you feel your way, other people feel. It's an endless argument.
Hey, listen. I have no issues. This is what it is. Right? This is something I'm going to say. I have no issues with Dr. Sebi. I don't. People say I'm a Dr. Sebi hater. I'm not. Like, how can I hate someone I don't know? Do you know what I mean? What I do know and what I do argue is the information that he presented. And I feel that just because you can respect a guy, you can follow a guy, you can believe in a guy, and you can still disagree with certain aspects of things that he said. That doesn't take away from all the work that he's done.
He became a mystic.
Huh?
You know, he became, and if I'm using the vocabulary wrong, forgive me. He became a mystic, just like Prophet Muhammad.
Yeah.
Just like Jesus.
But what?
Just like, these guys like Gandhi.
They
became mystics. So people have conjured up their own opinion of a certain idea that it's going to be centuries of arguing. You can never change it.
Yeah.
And you can talk about Jesus like saying Jesus had a kid. If you say Jesus had a kid, that means he had sex. If you say Jesus had sex, it plays into a thing of him being sinless. It just, he's the son of God born without a father. And when people look at Jesus, especially Christians, they look at him as the Lord and Savior, and it just doesn't fit that Jesus had sex.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it just will never, ever work out. So I'm just saying, like, you could argue with some people about Dr. Sebi, some people about Martin Luther King. Different people like that, man. Tupac. It's an endless argument, man.
Because I know.
We got our minds made up.
No, and here's the thing.
Believe about them.
He healed people. That's the truth. But the things he said about Seamoss weren't correct. He made a mistake, and that's okay.
But it ain't gonna never be corrected, Julien.
Yeah.
Right?
No, they can never be corrected because he's and this is what I wish sometimes is that he could they could rise him from the dead, because it's like he probably would clear up so much misconception.
They want Jesus to do that too.
Yeah.
They want to raise Jesus up so that he could tell the world that he was not God, that I was just a special person created by God to carry out a mission with the children of Israel. I was here to confirm and restore what Moses brought. They went astray. After Moses left, they went astray. So God sent me through a virgin mother to guide them back to the path. I am not God. I was not the creator of all that exists. I'm not one with God. I'm created by God. I worship God, and you should worship God. But some of us believe that, Julien. But Jesus is not going to come up yet, and hopefully not in our lifetime. Because when he do come back, we don't want to be alive.
But here's the thing: if you
don't want to be living.
But here's the thing too: if you focus on that one aspect, you're missing the whole wonders and amazing abilities and stuff of God. Like sometimes we focus too much on these details, and it's like, I think that some of the details, it's like we don't need to know these details. It's irrelevant. What's matter is the meat and the lessons and understanding the kingdom of God and the rules and living a certain righteous life. Do you know what I mean? Like, I don't know.
Yeah. But when you get down to the 10 Commandments, the first one is thou shalt worship no other God besides me. So when you get down to other religions like that say that God has no partners, that we shouldn't give them partners, we consider it shirk. S-H-I-R-K. Shirk. Shirk is a sin that's not forgiven. That's when you give partners to God or you worship anything besides God. So the whole focal point of all the prophets was to send out a message to whoever they were sent to, that you should worship nothing besides God. No statues, no ancestors, the sun, animals, anything you could think of in your human brain. There was nothing comparable to God. He's one in one. And everything falls under him. And everything was created by him at his will. Nothing comes into existence without his permission. And that we should worship none besides him.
Mm-hmm.
At any point ever. And if any, when you do, it's considered shirk.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the number one sin on the earth besides suicide, because you can't repent.
Yeah.
If you kill yourself, you can't repent, you know.
Yeah. Yeah, I never thought about that. But this makes
It's a
him
deep thing, man. It's an ongoing argument, you know. They say, but Jesus is God's son. And then some people say God is superior to fathers. He the Lord of fathers. Fathers die. Fathers get sick. Fathers don't know what happens tomorrow. A dog is a father. A lion is a father. Animals are fathers. God is superior to his creation. You should not compare him to his creation. That he's a creator, not a father. He say be, and it is. He know everything.
He's like source energy.
And he hear all things.
You know what I mean? He's like source energy. So it is possible that Jesus could be part of him, but not really of him. Like a piece of him is made up of Jesus, and that would mean that, because a lot of times I think some of the things that they say, it's like they use words in way, because you got to remember, words are just symbols. Do you know what I mean? They're just placemakers. They don't mean anything unless we put the meaning of them. So what they say there could mean something totally different than what we understand it to mean today. Like, for example, today in church, we were talking about, in a lot of the scriptures, they talk about your house. And you have to have an orderly house and stuff like that. And what they but your house,
that could mean, your home,
yes,
your
body,
church, the congregation,
exactly,
the rural, the city, the village. It could mean
this.
Anybody.
This is
when I say body, I mean body. Any body of people.
Yeah,
so
and that's my whole point. Is that how do you know what they meant when they meant it? You know what I mean? At that time, and the way they meant it, like we're all just trying to interpret things.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
What's crazy is fathers die though. God don't die.
No.
He lives forever. He has no beginning and no end. He's the Alpha and
Omega.
He was never born, and nor did he bear it.
Yeah.
So it's an ongoing argument, because some people beg to differ. They call him the Heavenly Father, and they say, they got an explanation for why they give him the title Father, but to some of us, we believe that that's a degradation, that's bringing God down to the level of animals and men, to the levels of his creation, which he is far superior above his creation. So 1 + 1 is 2.
Yes.
Your ears know the truth when they hear it.
Yes.
I'm sure Jesus would agree that is one God and that you should worship none besides him. I'm sure in my heart, I can't say what you believe nor hate you for what you believe, but I just believe Jesus would agree with that, man.
Yeah.
What do you think? Do you think Jesus would dispute that?
Probably not. I think that it's pretty clear in the Bible, like who God is and what God is. You know what I mean? Like he is, like you say, like he's the number one. No one comes before him. No one comes after him. He is the Lord of Lords. The highest of highs, and he's a jealous God. And so,
That's
like
right.
you're talking before about these objects, like even like today, I was wearing this bracelet, and I'm driving with this friend of mine that I drive to church, and he's like, "Oh, that's a nice whatever." This bracelet was like given to me as a gift or something, right? And so he's like, "Oh, that's a nice." I think it was Tiger Rock or something like that, or Tiger Eye or something. And I'm like, "Oh yeah, that's nice." He's like, "Oh yeah, it's supposed to, ward off like negative energies or something like that." And I started thinking about it, and I'm like, if I were to sort of look at this thing and see it as this is a symbol to do whatever, then it's almost like I'm taking away from who God, like I'm not supposed to worship this thing as an idol. I'm not supposed to have faith in this piece of rock like it's supposed to do something for me. You know what I mean? Like God is the only one I'm supposed to trust and have faith in.
Well, don't get me twisted tonight.
Yeah.
I'm only stating the endless arguments.
Yes.
I'm not trying to push my views.
No.
Even though I know it sounds like it.
Nah.
Forgive me for
You're
that.
just stating your opinions.
It's an ongoing argument that been argued before me and you were born.
Oh yeah, for sure.
They've been arguing this for centuries, man.
Mm-hmm.
The same thing, and they will never agree.
They'll never know what's right. I think that what's most important, it's not even what's right or what's wrong. You know what I mean? It's what's important is how you develop a relationship with God, whoever you think God is. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
And God will reveal the truth to you and speak to you and make you understand. And like it's not up for us to yeah, like this is all a part about your journey and your experience. And I feel like
right.
You need to go through these life experiences and open up your mind and your heart to see it, to know that it's there.
See where your journey take you.
Mm-hmm.
You know, our journeys aren't the same.
No.
And if you want to know something serious, now this is serious. If you truly believe in the last day, and you believe in Judgment Day, if you truly believe in it, if you truly believe in God, and you accept that there's a heaven and a hell, and you accept that there's a Judgment Day, you wouldn't argue with people because you know in the end it's God's here.
Mm-hmm.
What another man does, he has to face God. If you believe in that, I'm saying not all religions believe in that the same way.
Mm-hmm.
But the Jews, Judaism, Christianity, and Islam, we're the monotheistic religions.
Mm-hmm.
We believe in that. So if we truly believe in it, why would I hate you or argue with you when I know in the end you have to be judged? I got to be judged. Mm-hmm. And the Lord is going to sort it out.
Yeah, it's not up for us
for me to worry about it.
Yeah, it's not up for us to make that decision.
Why would I worry?
Yeah,
because I know if I believe my Lord is going to give us our book of deeds and read to us our put us on the scale,
mm-hmm.
and this determines our heaven or hell. Mm-hmm. Why would I, if I got faith in that, I would still love you while we live in this world,
mm-hmm.
and feel and pray for you and forgive you, and hope you do that for me, because in the end it's going to be sad if it's true when that trumpet blow, when the sky split asunder, and when souls are raised from the graves, man, to be judged.
Mm-hmm.
If I believe that in my heart, I won't want to argue with you or prove you wrong. I just want to pray I'm right. In the end, you know.
Yeah.
I'm too busy praying that I'm right to mess with you, bro.
Yeah, to worry about all that.
Yeah. Do you believe in heaven and hell, Joey?
Somewhat. I believe in God. I'm not sure.
You believe in Judgment Day?
I believe that you will be judged based on your actions. Now, what happens to you based on that judgment, I'm not quite sure. But I do believe that, you have to be somewhat accountable for the things that you've done in your life and stuff like that. And
so you do believe God is the ultimate judge, regardless?
Yes.
Therefore, we got no part in it, and there's no reason for us to argue and hate each other and constantly try to prove each other wrong.
Bro,
because God is the decider.
I'll put it like this. When someone does me wrong, I just laugh and smile, and I don't do a single thing. And I just wait for God. The amount of times that people have tried to fuck me over, and I've watched God do bad things to them for what they've done to me, like, trust me.
It's deep.
Deep.
You know,
I don't.
In 2000.
Yeah.
And I made it, and I was 25 years old.
Yeah.
I was young and courageous, and I'm energetic, witty, and healthy. And I'm laying in the bed with all these tubes in me, man. Mm-hmm. They finally brought me out of surgery. And I said, and the morphine was kicking in. And I said, God, please save me. I said, right now, I can't save myself. I said, but the guy that shot me, I got into with a 19-year-old that shouldn't have been in the bar. You have to be 21 to be in the bar. But he picked me to mess with. Yeah. So we got into a fist fight. I put him in the headlock, and he shot me in the stomach while I was holding him in the headlock. Oh, no. He pulled out a little small handgun.
Like a 22 or something.
Yeah.
Shit.
He put it on my stomach. He really was trying to get me off of him,
Yeah. But still.
But whatever the case, I asked God, because I showed the dude that I didn't have a gun before we started fighting.
Yeah.
And he showed me he did. And I was drinking, so I didn't care.
Yeah.
He was
just
younger
like,
than me.
Fuck him. Yeah, I know it
Whatever
is.
the case,
Little
I said, God, I
whippersnapper.
can't save myself. I'm laying in this bed. They got every tube under the sun in me. Please, if you let me live and give me another chance, I will never drink again because I'm mighty sure that the drinking made me believe that I could fight a person with a gun.
Mm-hmm.
I said, so for one, I will never drink again, ever.
Yeah.
I said, but you can handle me for the things that I did. And I said, it had to be some things I did, whether it's tonight or before, that made you bring me to this realization of today. I said, so I'm going to let you handle this guy because I can't handle him like you can because you're doing this to me and I can't believe it.
Yeah.
I said, I can believe it, but I can't believe that I'm totally powerless.
Yes.
At your mercy here. I said, so I want you to do that to him. Because if I get him back, and people were calling me, they were coming, they wanted to do some stuff. I said, no, don't do nothing. Guess what happened to that guy the next summer? I got shot August 6th. In July of the next year, he got shot in the neck. He was paralyzed neck down for 8 years straight. And then he died.
Oh, no.
And now I'm sitting here in a 6,000 square foot home with a beautiful family. Beautiful family. I got married that Monday. I got shot that Friday.
Wow.
And I got out that Sunday morning. I was okay. I got out with staples and they gave me my surgery. Monday, went with my girlfriend to the mosque and we both became Muslim and got married in a 30-minute conversation with them.
Wow. God is good.
Yeah, so you see, God paid him back better than I could. What can I do to that guy better than that?
No.
If I was an evil person looking to harm someone, because I'm upset and I want revenge, what could I do better than that?
Yeah.
Was that masterful? And guess what? It's a girl I found that went with him. I found her 2 years ago or a year ago. Yeah, about a year ago on Facebook through another person. And she told me the details of what happened the night he shot me.
Wow.
How he went on a run and what they went through. So I was able to put closure.
Yeah.
And wonder how he felt. Did he feel bad about shooting me? You know, I had all those questions. You know?
Yeah, but it's amazing how God has allowed that situation to happen for you to bump into her and get that closure. You know what I mean? Where you know, yeah, and I believe it like happens because what?
I went in.
No, dude, I appreciate you sharing this stuff, and I think this stuff, this like religious or spiritual aspect, is important for us to talk to because I feel like people need to be more in tune with their spiritual side and connect with God more so that they can unlock these blessings and opportunities that are there waiting for us. You know?
That's right. And so my journey isn't yours. For some reason, God didn't want me to drink.
No.
So I haven't had a drink August 16th. I believe this August will be 23 years. Not one sip, not even NyQuil or any medicine with alcohol.
Yeah. Hold on one second, Khaled. I'm not recording myself when I'm doing a live stream. Why? Sorry. Family.
Sorry about that. But yeah, I'm just touching on, our journeys are different.
Yeah.
Your message from God might be totally different. That's something he wants you to do that's going to guide you to fulfill your mission.
For sure.
We all got a mission, man.
We all have a purpose in life.
Yeah, mine, unfortunately, I must have forfeit. I cannot drink. It's been deemed he don't want me touching liquor.
Well, here's the thing.
This
is what I believe, that sometimes he can foresee something happening down in the future and he will put this traumatic thing in your life to make sure that it stops because something more tragic could have happened in the future had you continued to drink. You could have done damage to your family, or like there could be a reason why you you have to be around.
Alcoholic and mess my liver and kidneys up.
Sometimes it's not even just you. Like, what about your kids and your kids' kids? Do you know what I mean?
The kids that were born with me and my wife, she was 21, I was 25.
Yeah.
We've been married 23 years. You know how many kids we got? 10.
Here's an example to say this is why I say it. So I have my business partner. I see his kid. He has this son. Like, I truly feel like this guy has something destined for him. And I feel that what me and Ashton are doing is really setting him up. Like, the reason why I'm blessed with this stuff with the Seamoss and he's doing this and why we've met is really because of the future of his son. There's something that's happening with his son. And I know it sounds crazy, but trust me, like, I've had these feelings all my life at certain things, and I've, like, as I grow older, I now see it happening. Like, for example, when my daughter was like 5 years old, she used to have this kid, this next door kid named Noah, come over to my house. Right, this is a guy who, his mom and father have never been around. He's been living with his grandma and stuff. And when I saw this kid, Khaled, God spoke to me and said, you need to make sure that you're in this guy's life and to guide him and to support him. And because if you don't, something bad's going to happen to him. He's going to do bad things. Like, this kid, you could tell, like, he's super smart, but very sort of like, he's got that like a spirit in him that, if it comes out, that he can do some damage. And so as he's been growing up as a kid, I've always been kind of like in his life to kind of mentor him, talk to him, you know what I mean? Because he would have issues with his grandma. I mean, his grandma, wasn't too honest with him, telling him who his parents are, what's going on. So imagine you growing up and your grandma's lying to you. You know what I mean? And that's what I kept telling.
Confused and real upset.
Yeah, and so much anger to her because she's like, I don't know why he's so angry to me. And I'm like, maybe it's because you're lying to him and he knows you're lying to him, but he can't prove it. Because I know if I was in that situation and, like, I'm like, where's my mom? And you're like, oh, she's in Afghanistan fighting a war. Like, like, it's 2022. So anyways, so you fast forward now to his age. This kid is like 6'5", like super tall, muscular. Like, trust me, this kid could do some fucking damage. And he's all into the military. He's talking about, building his homemade weapons and all this other gun shit. Like, and I'm just like looking and I'm like, God, like, you are so right. Like, this kid is like, he is broke. He is on the fence. Like, he could be like a serial killer, or like some guy that, like, saves the world, or a superhero,
or just somebody just went in one of these places and shoot him up.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. He could become that kid, like, you know what I mean, with so much anger and everything inside him, you know what I mean. And so I'm just so glad that God put me, opened my eyes to see that, so that I can help him. Because, like, him growing up, I took him to fencing. I would, like, go, like, I did a lot of big brother stuff with him, you know what I mean. And I think that, pardon?
I said, thank God you
Yeah.
did that.
And I would just, like, have heart-to-heart talks with him sometimes, because he would get so upset with his grandma, you know what I mean, because of some of the things that she would do to him. And I would just talk to him and just kind of calm him down and make him understand how important it is to control your anger, and to just that, shit, his grandma loves him. Just make him understand, like, why things are the way they are, even though you don't understand why they are, or you don't agree with them. You know what I mean? Like, just shit that you're trying to figure out as a kid, and he doesn't have a father there to kind of guide him on that. Khaled's gotta wait a second there. I think he might have what do they call it? His Wi-Fi is acting up. His reception's not good. But yeah, man, I gotta go talk to Noah. Yeah, I lost him. Let's see if he comes back. Otherwise, I don't think I'm gonna stay on here too late tonight, because I would rather get some rest. I got a busy week, and I gotta get up tomorrow and figure out what's going on with this whatchamacallit, with this shipment that I just got. Let's see if they they gave me an update yet. No updates. Yeah. So they'll probably respond to me tomorrow about that. You know what? Hold on, my child's calling me. Hello?
Hello?
Yeah.
Can you pick me and my friends up from John Montgomery again? I'm still at the festival, but I'm gonna text you when I'm on the subway.
How many friends?
Just two, Cassandra and Adriana.
Okay, that's fine.
Okay.
So,
I'll text you when I'm on the subway.
what time will you be there approximately?
An hour from when I get to the subway, so I'm gonna like Google Maps
Okay.
my exact ETA, and I'll text you my exact ETA.
All right, no problem.
Okay, see you later.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Sorry about that, guys. What's up, Sean Wilson? Did you just join? And it's good that I can actually see your comments. Or I think it's one group that I don't see the comments on. It's not the Buyers Club. I mean, sorry, it's not my page, but the club that I don't see. Sorry, I'm just reading some information, trying to figure out why I see some of the comments on some of them, and some of the posts that comment. Oh god. So where's the... Yes, I can see the comments there, but not on the group. So on the pages I can see it, but not on the group. Either way. What's up, Sean? What's up, everybody else? Oh, it's getting a chilly night. So I guess I got like an hour I gotta kill. And it was sad because I was just like, oh, I'm gonna go to sleep early and da. But no, I gotta be private Uber driver for the children. Although she's not even a children now, she's an adult. She's like, she can legally go to clubs or stuff. She's at like some music festival called Veld. I don't even know why they call it. Like, what is Veld? But it's basically an EDM music festival with like 3 stages at this like park called Downsview. Yeah. Seems like it makes a lot of money. So many people go to it. You That's one of those things that like all our friends do, and they make outfits to go there and jump around. Yeah. But yeah, we talked a lot about a lot of stuff today. A lot of religion, um, stuff about sales, products. Hmm. Yeah, I think I'm gonna close out the night. I'm gonna take a break for a bit just before I go to pick up my kids. That gives me like half an hour or so to relax before I gotta leave. So I mean, it's 11:30. We've been talking almost 3 hours now. Jeez, so much we talk about. I think I need to take a washroom break too. That wouldn't hurt. So, all right, guys. Thanks so much for joining me tonight and talking about CMOS. Um, if you have any questions about CMOS, I'm always available. Oh, you're back, Khaled. I didn't think you were coming back, but yeah, I think fuck it. I'm gonna take a night. I'm gonna do this another time. Well, you know what, Khaled? We got to set up a time for us to do a live stream on your group, um, the CMOS Life group, and I would love to be oh, excuse me, your guest on your show or on your group, and we'll take it from there. But until then, I'm going to be back on Wednesday. I might do another live stream tomorrow during the day or evening, depending on when I get that CMOS and if I get that CMOS. Definitely want to do a video on that. It's going to be one of my biggest shipments I've ever received. So it'll be curious to see how much all that CMOS looks like. And fuck, excuse my language, but like I'm just thinking I gotta bring all that stuff in. These guys have got a bin right in the middle of the garage door, so I won't be able to like cart it in like I normally do it. Whatever. It is what it is. I'll work through it. Until then, I hope you guys have a good life and make sure you take some CMOS. Oh, that's another thing too. I got some CMOS soaking, some purple CMOS. I'm gonna take some purple CMOS tomorrow, and so maybe I'll do a quick video of me blending up the CMOS. I'll show you guys on that on probably Instagram. All right. So until then, you guys have a great evening, and don't forget to take your CMOS. Take care.